Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. Today I wanted to show you guys how I go about writing a pop ballad or acoustic ballad because tomorrow I'm releasing one called Over the Moon. I just wrote it, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and yeah, I really like it. So, of course, there's so many different ways to start writing a song, um, and I think the best thing to do is really to experiment with as many different ways of starting a song and see which few of those ways works best for you. For example, when I start writing a song, I never ever just write lyrics in a notebook. For me, that doesn't really work. I kind of need something to inspire me um, audibly or musically. So I always do the music first. Usually, I at least start a chord progression. Um, Oftentimes, though, I'll produce an entire track before I lay down any vocals because it inspires me a lot more. Um, but usually, as I start building the track, I'll have vocal melodies start to come to me. So usually what I do is I start laying down a chord progression, whether it be just piano, or if I'm getting stuck with just sitting at the piano, I'll try to find an interesting synthesizer sound, a bass sound. So it really can vary. I Some days I'll try to make a nice, beautiful pad sound, with a chord progression. Other days I'll try to write a funky bass line. Other days I'll just search for samples on Splice to see what inspires me if I come across anything. Sometimes I'll make a drum groove that I really like. So there's tons of ways you can start. But as far as like writing a pop ballad, I think this, especially if you're just starting to write songs, I think writing a ballad is kind of a good place to start because they typically um, are simpler. Um, well, I'm also talking about producing. If you're going to produce this yourself and do all the music, a lot of times, ballads can be more stripped down. Not all the time, but I'm just saying, you could write a nice, beautiful ballad with just the piano and your voice. Anyway, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the song and go over with you. Okay, so for this song, I knew off the bat that I wanted to start with an acoustic guitar because I rarely start songs with acoustic guitars. But I think it's a beautiful sound. It's great way to start a ballad. So I knew that from the start. Sometimes I don't know what I want to start a song with, right? But I did for this song. So the chords that I'm using are, we have A major, right? Sorry, A major, and then we're going to C sharp minor. Now a quick tip on this, which may be obvious to a lot of you, but maybe it's not for everyone. When you go from an A, playing an A major chord in root position, A, C sharp, E. It doesn't sound as good if you go from root position chords to root position chords usually. So if I'm in an A major root position and go all the way up to C sharp minor root position, I mean, it does sound good, but it's a lot farther away, right? Still sounds good, but my point is it's incredibly helpful and was for me to learn really well chord inversions. If you don't know what that is, basically it's just you can play a triad, a major or minor triad, or diminished, augmented, any triad. You can play it in three ways: root position, A. So if we're in A major, doing an A major chord, you can play A, C sharp, E, right? Root position. You can play first inversion, which would be C sharp, E, A. Or you can play play E, A, C sharp. Again, maybe this is super obvious to some of you, but this is really helpful when writing songs and making chord progressions a lot faster, and also playing them is much easier because when you do inversions, you can create chords with just changing one finger as opposed to moving your whole hand up the piano or guitar. So if we're in root position, A, C sharp, E, and I move my thumb down from A natural to G sharp, that now becomes C sharp minor in second inversion. It's much closer and easier to play. I think it sounds better because you're not leaping from root position to root position. This is also, if you were ever in a choir and you sang in 4-part harmonies, a good composer would not have the harmonies playing, singing root position chord to root position chord, right? So if we're changing a chord and only need to change one note to make it a new chord, we would do exactly what I'm doing and just shift one note so that it's a smoother transition or smooth voice leading. Anyway, so usually I just lay down a chord progression and then I'll try to just put it on repeat and start humming along with it. Right, until I find a melody that I like. And sometimes it doesn't happen right away and I have to come back to it. But that's what I do with pretty much every song. So here, let's start from the beginning and I'll show you a little more. Been so long on my spaceship, maybe a year or two, so far away from you. Like Neptune, the color blue, your eyes like deja vu, just comets passing through. What would I do if you ever leave me? Okay, so that's the first verse, right? So the chords are pretty simple. So we have the A major going to C sharp minor, and then the C sharp minor is held out twice as long as the A major, right? And then I repeat that. So the verse is only 2 chords the whole time, and then we get to what I would call probably the pre-chorus, which has the chord changes. So I would suggest not having 2 chords for the whole song, which, I mean, you can make a song interesting with 2 chords. I'm just saying it's easier to me to have chord changes more frequently, or at least, every 8 bars, every 16 bars, to create more interest and change in the melody, in the sound and textures and everything. So we go from A to C sharp minor, and after just humming for a while, I came up with the da 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 da, right? And then eventually, what I do with every song, I just hum. When I find the melody I like, I just hum it, na 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 na, and then I start to put random words to it. I don't remember why I decided to make this about the moon or space or anything like that, but it usually just kind of randomly comes to me. I think I might have just started with the first phrase, been so long on my spaceship, and I kind of was like, oh, maybe I'll do kind of like an Elton John Rocket Man ballad kind of thing. So I think I rolled with that, and I was just like, okay, let's have imagery about outer space and the moon and that kind of stuff, and being, away from the earth. Um, so basically, when you're writing the verse lyrically, I think what works well and what is often done in pop music is the verse is more specific with the lyrics, more detailed about the story, about whatever's going on. So I'm talking about being on a spaceship, away from the earth, away from home, away from a loved one. And then when the chorus comes in, it should be more broad and vague and the main point of what you're saying, basically. So verses are more detailed, detail oriented, and the chorus is the main idea. Then we go back into the verse, details, back to chorus, main ideas, and sometimes a bridge if we want. So that's pretty much that. The pre-chorus, when you go, what would I do? So that's where I change chords from A major to C sharp minor, and then we go, what would I do? And we land on a D major, right? So that's, we're going from, in the verse, we're in the key of A major, so the 1 chord. C sharp minor would be the 3. And then we're going to D, which is the 4 chord, A, B, C, D. And now what I added here is pretty common to go from the 4 chord to the minor 4 chord, which would be D minor, right? Now, with D minor, there's an F natural, so the F natural is not typically in the key of A major, right? But it gives this chromatic step, which sounds good if you do what I'm doing, going from the major 4 to the minor 4, because it gives kind of a mysterious little moment there, right? So we have the A, C sharp minor. What would I do? What would I do if you ever leave me? Right? Ever leave me? And it gives that kind of longing. It's not the dominant, so it's not quite the same, but it has a sense of longing to me when I hear that. And then we're going to go into the chorus here. So I'll start at the pre-chorus, show you what I did for the chorus. If you ever leave me, I'm over the moon for you. I'm so far from you. It's true. Oh, I'm over the moon for you. I'm over the moon for you. Okay, so going into the chorus, I'm using the same chords as the verse, A to C sharp minor, but what we do typically in a chorus, right, is we have a change in dynamic, usually instrumentally and vocally. So I'm going from a lower vocal range, been so long on my spaceship, and now I'm going, I'm over the moon, right? So we want, in a chorus, we want a shift vocally, either to be more dynamic, or maybe the verse is much more dynamic in range and the chorus is more low key or static. It could be totally up to you, but typically the chorus is a little more dynamic and epic, whatever you want to call it, than the verse. So typically I try to add quite a bit of instrumentation to the chorus to have a more dynamic drop into it, so I added some strings in the background. I love strings, so I pretty much with any emotional song, I have strings in the background. So I have some cellos. I have like a string pad playing, and 2 string pads playing for the beginning of the chorus. And then I also have Native Instruments noir piano doing like a mallet kind of background noise that is called the Particles Engine, which has kind of a nice emotional mallet sound. It's kind of, I like it. I think it's nice. I'm so far from you. It's true. Oh, I'm over the moon for you. So, okay, so we have the chorus, and here we could call this either the post-chorus or like the main tagline, end refrain of the chorus, because it does kind of sound like they're 2 mini sections in one. You could look at it like that, or you could look at the whole thing as the chorus. So I like to have, so oftentimes in pop music, you'll hear the chorus, and then there's like an end tagline. Trying to think of examples, but pretty much like a ton. Most pop songs probably kind of have almost 2 choruses where it's the main chorus, and then they end it with the main tagline, you know, and then it drops into, we're gonna repeat this tagline, right? Like, I don't know, we're cool for the summer, ba ba da ba da, cool for the summer, blah, right? Something like that. Tons of pop songs do that. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm over the moon for you. It's the main title of the song, main idea. So with this section, I add more strings to bring more dynamic to that emotional string sound. I'm over the moon for you. And then I have a couple vocal harmonies, pan left and right, a lot of reverb to give kind of an atmospheric background, kind of like a background bed for the main vocal, right? And then we go into the second verse. So same chords, here we go. Blasting off in outer space, I'm gone without a trace. I need to see your face. Now we have a little percussion come in. I wanna know if I ever cross your mind. So usually in the second verse, what I like to do is, I pretty much have the same vocal melody, but we don't always want the same exact vocal melody until the chorus. So I have some variation here, to give a little interest in variation from the first verse. Usually when I'm in the second verse, typically what I like to do is try to expand the vocal range a little bit, to indicate that we're building in dynamics, right? So I'm adding percussion, I'm adding a couple higher notes here. But I want to know if I ever crossed your mind, right? So we're building a little bit, and then I'm adding some vocal harmonies here to lead up to a little bit more epic chorus, right? Plugin always does this. Oh, what would I do? Here we go. If you ever leave me, I'm over the moon for you. I'm so far from you. It's true. And we have second part of the chorus. I'm a little more build for you. I'm over the moon for you. I'm over the moon for you. the moon for you. I'm over the moon for you. I'm so far from you. It's true. Oh, I'm over the moon for you. And yeah, that's the song. So yeah, typically with the final chorus, I like to add a couple new instruments, couple new sounds, and really fill it out. Fill it out as much as possible, or as much as I think is necessary to have the impact. Since it's the kind of final main chorus of the song. But yeah, that's pretty much a song. That's pretty much kind of how I usually write songs in general, but ballads. Yeah. So if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Hope you like the song. Hope this helps or inspires you a little bit to try to write something. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.